The 2025 NBA draft cycle has came and gone. I actually started this all the way back in June, making my way too early 2025 NBA mock draft. It's a lottery mock draft, so I'm not going to react to all 30 picks because I don't have them. I'm going to react to my early 14 picks. Obviously, you see at one, I did get the player right, not the team though. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description, submit your video ideas. My way too early 2026 NBA mock draft is going to be out in probably a couple of days. So react to this mock draft. I know I have some misses for sure. Probably have some hits as well. But yeah, hopefully we get better. Let's check it out.
And subscribe, go into the description and submit your video ideas, and let's get right into it. With the first overall pick, everyone's consensus, we're gonna have Cooper Flagg go to the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, Cooper Flagg right now playing on Team USA Select.
Yeah, kind of crazy how Cooper Flagg as a before he started his freshman year at college. So basically, when he was supposed to be right out of his junior year in high school, he was on Team USA Select. He played against LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo. I mean, we saw that Team USA team, stacked team. So when he was supposed to be right out of his junior year of high school, he came and played this Team USA team, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, obviously Cooper Flagg got one. We all knew this was going to happen. This was not a hot take at all.
Which at 17 years old is insanely impressive. He's probably the most dominant player in this draft class. I mean, physically, he's about 6'9", 6'10", able to create his own shot.
6'8".
Some people have him at 6'8", but I'm not exactly sure where he's going to be at the college level. But yeah, 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", wherever he is, he's able to create his own shot.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been listed at 6'10". I think he's for sure 6'8".
On offense, he's able to rebound, and his defense is definitely something to note as well. But yeah, I expect him to have a big season this year at Duke, and it makes sense. He's number one. Everyone has him at number one. There should be no question. At number two, I'm going to have Ace Bailey to the Washington Wizards.
Okay, Ace Bailey at 2. The Wizards did have the second worst record, so I guess I did predict that correctly. But realistically, if they were at pick 2, they were going to take Dylan Harper. Ace Bailey didn't have a terrible college season. Like, it wasn't bad by any means. It was a good season. I would just say what Dylan Harper did on a consistent level was for sure better than Ace Bailey. But yeah, Ace Bailey, you could make the argument at the beginning of the year that he was the second best prospect. I think most people had that. But yeah, 2 is definitely a little bit high. Not going to say this is a complete miss for me because he was still in the top 5, but I probably could have went a different direction.
Ace Bailey is one of the best slashers in this draft class. He's able to create a shot off the dribble as well. I like him a lot to the Wizards just to add to that rebuild next to Bilal Coulibaly and obviously Alex Sarr. I'm very excited for Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper next season being able to be two of the main players on Rutgers. So their development is going to be prioritized a lot. So big seasons coming from Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. Ace Bailey, one of the best defenders in this class as well. Insanely athletic. I bet if you search on YouTube for some Ace Bailey poster compilations, you'll find some.
Yeah, he for sure had a lot of good high school highlights. Really not disappointed, but surprised he came into college and was just like a pure shot creator. Wanted to see him go downhill a lot more.
Because this guy is an athletic freak. So he'd be in a great addition for this Washington Wizards rebuild. At 3, we're going to have Nolan Traore. I usually have a couple of my guys in every single draft class.
I really liked Nolan Traore out of, or especially watching his Adidas, it was a U18 tournament. He was just so elite. That was like the most film, like the biggest sample of film that I watched from him. Just what he was able to do off the dribble, finishing in the paint above taller defenders. I thought for sure he was going to be a lock of a lottery pick, but didn't play too much at St. Quentin. I thought he was going to play a lot more. His jump shot wasn't too progressed. It looks like he's just going to be the playmaker, the same downhill guy that he was basically last year. But yeah, I had him over Dylan Harper. I had him over VJ Edgecombe. This is probably not my best take. He was projected around this range, though, last year, but this was one of my favorite players in the draft class. Still is. I love the Brooklyn Nets pick at 18, but this is for sure a little bit early.
Class, and I think Nolan Traore would be in that or in the my guys category for this draft class. Last year, I'd probably say Kel'el Ware for sure. He's my favorite collegiate player last year. Stephon Castle, mostly just because I'm a UConn fan, but I also loved his game a lot. Then lastly, probably Bub Carrington, just because he came out the gates very strong for Pittsburgh with that triple-double. So those 3 guys are probably my guys for last year's draft class. This year, probably Nolan Traore, probably Hugo Gonzalez, I love a lot. And then I guess I'll have to find my last guy.
Damn, Hugo.
But for Nolan Traore, he's a very talented point guard. He has the size at 6'5". His game is downhill. I mean, you cannot stop him going downhill. Very crafty around the rim, able to pass to teammates as well. You know, his playmaking is definitely something you can't overlook. The 3-point shot, I'm not going to say it's 100% not there, but there's definitely need for improvement. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the form because
That's for sure his main thing, 3-point shooting. If he doesn't have that at the NBA, I don't know, because right now he's definitely just a downhill type of guy. Let me skip to the next pick, though, because sort of chatting about him.
make it slightly competitive for Cooper Flag for that number 1 overall pick.
Whoa, what? What did I just say?
I'd say he's one of the best slashers in this draft class. And if that 3-point shot doesn't improve, there's a chance Nolan Triora can make it slightly competitive for Cooper Flag for that number 1 overall pick.
All right, so he didn't play that much at St. Quentin last year, and I said if he was a consistent 3-point shooter, he could have made it competitive with Cooper Flag for the number 1 overall prospect. Yeah, that's not good.
At 4, I'm going to have VJ Edgecombe.
This is good, though. This is a really good prediction. I think if he was at 4 for the Hornets would 100% taken VJ over Con Knipple, in my opinion.
Right now, VJ Edgecombe playing with the Bahamas for the Olympics. I'm not sure if they're eliminated yet from the qualifying round or however that works, but I do know he had some big games to start off. There's definitely a lot of great slashers in this year's draft class, like Ace Bailey, like VJ Edgecombe, like
I just call him VJ Edgecombe. I don't know.
Nolan Triora as well. So hopefully VJ Edgecombe will be able to separate himself from those guys, but it's definitely apparent he wants to go at your head. If you're underneath the rim, he will try to dunk on you. Nikola Vucevic, unfortunately, had to learn that this year. But yeah, Edgecombe.
Yeah, that dunk in the qualifiers was crazy over Vucevic. That really put me on to VJ. I watched him a lot at Lehigh in high school as well. Honestly, I think I was probably earlier onto him than most people were, because I know he got put onto the scenes way later in high school than most people did. But that dunk against Vucevic, wow, that kind of just like solidified him as a top 5 guy for me.
Bit undersized for a 2 guard at like 6'4", so maybe you're gonna have to learn some more playmaking abilities. But he's able to create his own shot off the dribble. He's able to slash like insane. He's dunking on everything he sees, and his defense is 100% there as well. I hate to give player comparisons this early into the draft process, but if I had to give them, it might be Anthony Edwards.
Not the same shot creator as Ant is. I think for sure we can all agree on that. And I think Ant going downhill, finishing at the rim at Georgia, was better than VJ at Baylor. But yeah, that's probably not the best. I would say more Oladipo for right now, maybe even Iman Shumpert. But yeah, I was shooting for the stars on that one for Anthony Edwards. I'm surprised I said that.
But it's been so fun watching VJ Edgecombe so far, and I'm excited to see what he can do going to next collegiate season for Baylor. If there's one guy I'd say that could have a big college season from these freshmen in this draft class, it might be VJ Edgecombe. At 5, we have Dylan Harper going to...
Dylan Harper at 5. Okay. I mean, I don't think I was necessarily lower on Dylan Harper. I mean, I got to watch him in high school as well, like live at high school. I got to see him at Peach Jam. I don't think I was lower on him. I was just like slightly higher, maybe fit-wise, of VJ to the Charlotte Hornets. I thought they were probably on the same tier as prospects, which now Harper's 100% better. But I think my biggest miss so far has to be the Nolan Traore, because having Dylan underneath Traore, that is not true. That's a blatant lie. But yeah, I know I have him lower at 5, but I wouldn't say this is a complete miss. I still had him really high, touted as a prospect. I probably had him over VJ Edgecombe, but yeah, I should not have him low at 5.
Rutgers. Or excuse me, going to the Portland Trailblazers, but attending Rutgers this season. Him and Ace Bailey, you're going to have very big opportunities this year for Rutgers, being 2 of the main guys. But Dylan Harper, he is your modern day point guard. He has size at 6'6", maybe 6'5", but I call him 6'6". His 3-point shot is one of the best in this draft class, and he's a great pick and roll.
That's probably a lie. 3-point shot, I wouldn't say it's one of the best in this class. I would say he gets to it really well, and that's something, if he does really hit on in the league, he's going to be an all-star, maybe even all-NBA type player. But yeah, the 3-pointer wasn't amazing at Rutgers, but I did like to see his shot creation, though.
Role player as well, like guys we mentioned before, like Nolan Triora. But really, I think his shot creation is probably the best in this draft class. He's able to create
I would still say that.
His own shot off of isolation. He's able to go downhill as well. And like I said before, that pick and roll play as the ball handler, Dylan Harper can do that.
He's the best pick and roll guy in this class for sure. I think I'm saying really good stuff about Dylan.
Also an underrated passer as well. I got a chance to watch him last year at EUI, so it's cool to see him there. And it's very obvious that Dylan Harper is going to be able to get some buckets at the next level. At 6, I'm going to have Kaman Malak go to the Chicago Bulls.
All right. Pronounce his name completely wrong. His name is Kaman Malawach. I said Kaman Malak. Okay. 6 to the Bulls, though. I would say this is a solid projection. I I'm pretty sure there's people in the comment section too that said I was too high on Malawach, or maybe that was like a Twitter post or something. But no, I really liked what I saw out of him, especially at the basketball academy in Africa. Just his mobility and movement with his size, shot blocking ability, and his rolling ability, like putting that all together, I thought for sure he was going to be a top 10 guy, which he was. Honestly, I thought he could have went even higher. I had him at times at 6 to the Wizards. That would have been a lot better, but I think if the Bulls had a chance to take him at 12, they would have 100% done that. I do like this. I think Malawach was pretty impressive this year for Duke.
Kamal Malak, definitely one of the more raw players in this draft class, but right away he's going to be a great shot blocker at the collegiate level. He's also a great a lob threat as well. Not sure how much of an opportunity he's going to get right away for Duke. I doubt he starts, but if he does,
He started.
we'll be able to see what Kamal Malak's going to be able to do, and if he really is going to stick in that lottery conversation. At 7, we have Hugo Gonzalez out of Spain to the Detroit Pistons.
I know I'm about to say.
Gonzalez, probably my favorite player out of this draft class. I think he's the most all-around gifted player in this draft class as well.
Favorite player, all around gifted player for Hugo Gonzalez, who went 29 to the Boston Celtics. No, 28. 28 to the Boston Celtics. Just not a lot of playing time. Did play underneath a lot of former NBA players at Real Madrid, like Serge, like Bruno Caboclo. Mario Hezonja's over there, I believe. But man, I was so high on Mario Hezonja. I know, or not Mario, on Hugo Gonzalez. I know I'm about to say a crazy take in a little bit, so get ready for that. But man, I thought he was going to be elite. I thought he could have even you'll hear what I'm going to say, but I thought he was that guy.
He is probably the best all-around offensive player, I'd say, but he cracks
Not even close to true.
himself on the defensive side of the basketball. What stands out to me most for him is definitely his crafty downhill abilities. He can finish with both hands. He can finish at full speed, at half speed. He's able to dish the ball as well. He's a very impressive player. He's an aggressive half-court player, which can sometimes fault him, but nonetheless, he can shoot the three. He can tour all 3 levels, and for that
Can't really shoot the three, but I think from what I saw from him, the shot didn't look bad by any means, just wasn't consistent.
reason, he's probably going to be my favorite player going into next year. He's a solid spot-up shooter, can definitely work on that. Be interesting to see how that develops over time, but we also know him to be a great playmaker. So if he's going to be a 6'6", 6'7" combo guard, a lot of teams are going to like that at the next level. And for me, I think on my draft board, I probably have him top 4. And low
Man,
key, this might be a bit of a stretch, but I think he can maybe make it competitive for Cooper Flagg at the number 1 overall spot. I really like Hugo Gonzalez that much.
competitive for Cooper Flagg at the number 1 spot. I said that about 28 overall pick, Hugo Gonzalez, who didn't get consistent play at Real Madrid last year. 3-point shot is not consistent. Many faults to his game for sure. Boy, that was a bad one. I don't know. That's for sure my biggest miss so far.
At 8, we have Liam McNeely go to the San Antonio Spurs. This team needs more forward shooting, and McNeely can bring that for sure. He's probably the best shooter coming out of last year's high school class, who decommitted from
You can make that argument. I think it was probably between him and Khan still.
Indiana, then went to UConn, and I think it's going to be a great fit for Dan Hurley. Like I said, he's probably the best spot-up shooter from last year's high school class. He's definitely a good cutter as well, which is going to help him a lot in the Dan Hurley UConn Husky system. But he needs to work on his foot speed on the defensive side of the ball. That could end up faulting him down the road. Honestly, I might be a little bit lower on other guys. I think he's probably going to be around my 14 to 17 on my big board right away. But I can definitely see the Spurs taking a shot on a guy like Liam McNeely, who's one of the best spot-up shooters in this draft class.
Yeah, think that. I think if he didn't get hurt early January, he might have been around this range, probably a little bit later. But that early January injury, which had him out for an extended period of time, really derailed his college season. It felt like he was pretty consistent, then went to non-consistent, and this year shooting 31 from 3, which dropped him a lot. I think my deficiencies that I said about McNeely, though, are going to be true. Like, not the best at creating for himself, doesn't have great foot speed on defense. I thought he was going to be used a lot more of a cutter last year with UConn because when they had Tristan Newton and Stephon Castle, they really looked a lot. Backdoor cuts, slip screens, things of that nature. They didn't use that too much this year with Liam McNeely, but I don't think this is a terrible take. He was kind of on this path if it wasn't for his injury, but it's all right.
McNeely also needs to work on trying to get a bucket with the ball in his hands. He's not the best on-ball player when you need to go get a bucket, but at UConn, he's not going to have to do that. Stephon Castle was definitely a similar guy last year where we thought he was going to have a big role at UConn, and he did, but he didn't have the ball in his hands a lot. And Lee McNeely's going to have a chance to be a good spot-up shooter for them, but don't expect him to be an isolation player out the gate.
That's for sure true. This is a pretty solid take as well.
At number 9, we're going to have Igor Demon, or Demon.
Igor Demon. Yegor Demon. Come on, that's a bad mispronunciation.
To the San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, this pick is going to be part of the DeJounte Murray trade, where the Hawks gave this year's first-round pick, or 2025's first-round pick, to the San Antonio Spurs. Right away, Igor Demon's definitely a very underrated cutter. A lot of people like to call him a 6'9" point guard, but if he's able to...
I think, did he play at Real Madrid? I can't remember where he played before BYU. If it was Real Madrid, he was used a lot more as a cutter than what he was at BYU. BYU, he was definitely more of a point forward / facilitator type of guy who wasn't asked to score the basketball. But Real Madrid, he was backdoor cuts, high post sometimes, mid-range, short corner, things like that. Wasn't used that much at BYU in that system, which kind of makes sense because they ran an NBA system, a spread type of system, which he was asked to pass the ball and facilitate. But yeah, I wish I saw him more as a cutter this year at BYU.
To cut, find the open spots, whether that's in the zone or just in the half-court basketball, Igor Demon can make a big impact on whatever team he goes to in the NBA draft. He's a very solid spot-up shooter, and he's going to be a very fluid offensive playmaker at the next level for BYU. Has great switchability on the defensive side of the ball and was utilizing the dunker spot offensively.
Yeah, switchability defensively. I probably just said that because of his size. Maybe just didn't see it as much at BYU.
During the Adidas Next Generation tournament. Also very excited to see him and Kevin Young going into next year. Obviously, Kevin Young, the lead assistant for the Phoenix Suns last year, so seeing him get a college shot should be pretty entertaining. And now, finally, BYU has a big college prospect.
That is solid takes about Demon. Definitely more of a playmaker at the college level. But yeah, overall solid. Whoa, this is solid too.
At 10, this is probably going to be my biggest hot take.
My biggest hot take turned out to be my best take of the whole video. Toronto Raptors take Collin Murray-Boyles. I think it was 9th overall in real life. This is perfect.
Of the NBA way too early mock draft, I'm going to have Collin Murray-Boyles go 10 to the Toronto Raptors. Right away, he's an elite post player who has great footwork. He's also a very solid and fluid half-court playmaker where he's a very underrated passer as well. Also is able to play make in the post. Obviously, though, if you watch his game, look at his stats, he can't shoot the 3-ball, or he hasn't really shot the 3-ball. But he said that he's going to be working on that this offseason. And if he can go into next season with a 3-point shot, people should be worried about Collin Murray-Boyles. Some people thought,
hey, he didn't really do it, but people should still be worried. I was right about this pick. This is probably one of the best predictions you could have preseason mock draft. But all right.
I was going to enter the draft this year, be maybe a late first, early second. But going into his second season with South Carolina, with the opportunity to have a bigger role as well, I expect a big season out of Collin Murray-Boyles, and if he's able to hit that 3-point shot as well, it could be scary. At 11, we have the Rockets. I'm going to have
great take about CMB.
Have them go Drake Powell, a very athletic and versatile wing for North.
Drake Powell at 11 to the Rockets. I didn't expect Powell's role to be what it was at UNC this past year. He was more of a catch and shoot corner guy, defensive specialist. I thought he was going to be utilized a lot more with the ball in his hands, but if he didn't have the ability, he did not have the ability, which I guess can't fault anybody for that. Still went in the first round. But yeah, I don't love him as much as a prospect anymore. I don't like the Nets pick at 22. Clearly, I liked him a lot more coming out of high school.
Carolina going into next season. He's a great spot-up shooter who also has very capable athletic abilities. Immediate playing time could be tough, though, considering they do have guys like Elliot Cadeau, assumingly he's going to start next season. RJ Davis, of course. Ian Jackson potentially over him. So if he's able to get that starting spot, I think he'd be able to flourish in it. If he doesn't, though, maybe playing time could be a potential issue. But I think nonetheless, Drake Powell will be a lottery guy in this upcoming draft.
That's a hot take. I kind of just glossed over that. Wasn't lottery. Was a first rounder though. And yeah, playing time was definitely an issue at some points for Drake Powell. He straight up, he just wasn't as good as guys like Seth Trimble, RJ Davis, Elliot Cadeau at times, and then Ian Jackson as well. He was definitely a raw prospect. That's just what he was. Interesting why I had him as high when there was a lot of chances he wasn't going to get ample opportunities.
It'll definitely be interesting to see who between Drake Powell and Ian Jackson will come out of next year being the better college prospect. 12, I'm going to have Jalil Bethea go to the Golden State Warriors. There's a couple
Nah, this is not great. Not the best situation at Miami. You know, head coach left early season. Wasn't a great foundation. Am I going to have Jaleel Bethea back in my 2026 way too early mock drafts? He's with Alabama. Nate Oates definitely knows how to run himself an offense. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to fall for the Jaleel Bethea bait again. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. This is, though, a lot of people have this. I can't fault myself, but wow, this is not great.
wings in this draft class like Bethea, like Trey Johnson, like VJ Edgecombe as well, who have very similar abilities. But they're all able to get downhill, dunk on your head, but also be able to create their own shot, hit an open spot up shot. And I do like Jalil Bethea a lot for Miami this upcoming season. He could definitely be one of those guys who's going to have one of the biggest opportunities for Miami.
Felt like he did, just didn't capitalize on it. Also, Bethea, not the downhill driver I kind of told him out to be, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to get a starting spot, but assume him, VJ Edgecombe as well, could have big collegiate seasons going into next season. I like Jalil Bethea a lot to the Warriors. Team going to have the Oklahoma City Thunder select Michael
Oh my gosh, Michael Rusic in the lottery? Oh my gosh, what am I thinking? That is terrible.
Ruzic. This is obviously going to be from the Los Angeles Clippers trade. I believe this was the Paul George trade. Ruzic definitely fits into the category of players the Oklahoma City Thunder would like to draft. But if they do end up not winning the finals next season and still using this pick, I'd be very surprised. This pick,
I agree. I think if they if they lost to the Pacers and they still held 15, I think they would have traded that.
expect to be traded again. But Michael Ruzic can stretch the floor at about 6'9". I'd say he could play that wing position, also maybe power forward.
Just way too skinny for no, this is bad.
I'd like to see him put definitely some more pounds on, but nonetheless, he should be a great player for the Oklahoma City Thunder down the line. Right away, though, probably would not play. But yeah, definitely more of the more raw players in this draft class, but don't be surprised if Michael Ruzic jumps up the boards going.
So why did I take him if he's one of the more raw players when there's so many better options? I was on Rasheer Fleming at this time last year. I was probably near lottery for him. By the way, I haven't seen Trey Johnson yet, which is bad. Man, this is Rusic in the lottery. There's so many better guys I could have picked from. Carter Bryant. This is terrible.
To next season. With the last pick in that pick 14, I'm going to have Donovan Freeman.
I like Donnie Freeman out of Syracuse. I still do. He didn't put up bad counting stats this year for the Orange. I don't know if he's not going to be in my way too early lottery mock draft this year, but I think he could be a first rounder, late first rounder. But yeah, this is not great. I also predicted the Lakers to miss the playoffs if I had them in the lottery. But man, Donnie Freeman in the lottery. Okay, no Carter Bryant, no Rasheer Fleming, no Trey Johnson.
To the New Orleans Pelicans. Donnie Freeman could potentially be the replacement for Brandon Ingram going into the long term if the Pelicans don't want to give him that max contract.
Little did I know, Trey Murphy turned into a superstar.
But Donnie Freeman plays great back to the basket. He's able to hit that turnaround jump shot. Is a very aggressive rebounder and defender as well. I think he'd fit very well into what the Pelicans are trying to build here to get more size potentially in that front court. If the three-point shot proves to be consistent at the next level with Syracuse, I expect Donnie Freeman to have a great chance to go in the top 10 in this year's draft. He's definitely one of the more players I enjoyed to watch. Hopefully he's able to get a big chance at Syracuse this next season because he has a lot of talent. His size also is going to help him be a great NBA prospect down the line. But yeah, also if you could tell, I have the Lakers in the lottery. The Western Conference is going to be so stacked next year, so it'd be pretty interesting to see the Lakers fall out. But I mean,
all right, is that it? Am I just looking at stats the rest of the time? Yeah, I'm just looking at standings. Yeah, that's gonna be it. A lot of misses for sure. I would say Cooper Flag is 1 for 1 in terms of what I got. Ace Bailey, it's not a miss, is it? It's not a miss. I'll say 2 for 2. Traore is a miss, 2 for 3. Edgecombe, 3 for 4. Dylan Harper, I wasn't low on Dylan Harper. I know I had him at 5. I'll probably give myself a miss, 3 for 5. Milewatch is a hit. That's 4 for 6. 4 for 7 with Hugo. That's 5 for 8. 5 for 9. 6 for 10. Bro, this is a crazy prediction right here. I can't believe I got that right. So I'd say I probably got like 50% of what I wanted to get. Bro, Michael Ruzic is absolutely crazy to have in the lottery. I didn't even talk about anything good about him. I just said he was raw, he was lanky, he was skinny. Give him to OKC. That makes no sense. That's a bad take. Overall, though, not terrible. If you guys enjoyed my reaction video, hope you guys subscribe. Go down to the description to submit your video ideas. And yeah, get ready for my way too early 2026 mock draft because it is going to be out soon. Peace.